Alright, so I'm back with another video review, and this time it's not so negative. This is my PTR 91 GI, and this is the one without the rail. Bought this about a couple months ago, right before everything got all crazy. And so far I've managed to install a carry handle. Just actually scored that for $15, and it was in excellent condition. Put a set me bayonet lug on it so I can use my set me bayonet. Of course I have set me magazines which lock in good, but I think I might have used that one. That shot fine. I also have this other stock that I tried to camouflage. It's supposed to be fleck-tarn, but, you know, kind of fleck-tarn. I ran out of stencils and didn't have the right colors, so it's more of a green forest fleck-tarn style camouflage. I have my chote full folding stock, and then back here is my James River Armory M14, which I'm probably going to be comparing the two. But out of the box, the PTR 91 has actually been reliable. Haven't had any major issues out of it. I did have some issues with the folding stock. Well, that was because I was using a recoil rod that was bent. So I'm guessing that was probably the problem. I bent it back, and I also took the recoil rod off of the original stock came on this gun. This is not the original furniture. The grip is original, but the thing I'm going to ding PTR for is the fact that the stock, the forend, and the grip are three different colors. Like, what the fuck? You know, the stock was a dark green color. The forend was a slightly lighter green color, and then you had the standard OD green grip. I don't know if they're just throwing together furniture kits or what, but I scored this set off Sportsman's Guide for I think like $20. It was just the stock with the recoil system and then the forend, and it matches the grip perfectly, so it's just good fun and good for me. But it is reasonably accurate. I've been shooting offhand because my local range is only 25 yards, and you can't really sit down and do bench rest unless you bring a stool with you, and I don't have a stool to bring with me. So it seems to group fairly well. Just shooting offhand. I haven't even been able to take this to the other range, Clinton County, here in Ohio. It's an excellent range, by the way. It just takes like an hour to get there from here. But I do enjoy this rifle. It's fun to pull that charging handle back and do the HK slap. But personally, I think reloading it's a little slower than the M14. But I'll get to that in a minute. So PTR 91, the operation of it is basically you need to put this thing up against your shoulder and really yank back that charging handle. This thing ain't for little babies. So you buy one of these rifles and start bitching about how the charging handle's so hard to pull back, well, it's time to man up, because this ain't an AR. AR is made to be simple and easy for anybody to use. This thing is a battle rifle. It fires around, it's about twice as powerful as a 5.56 cartridge. So its recoil system's got to be pretty stout. But, you know, cool thing is about these guns is they do not operate the same way as everything else. You know, this charging handle is actually really fun to operate. It will make your arm hurt after a while if you do it enough times, but you know, it's not like. And also, when it comes to putting a fresh magazine in, you pretty much have to have the bolt back, because if this magazine has 20 rounds in it, you're gonna have a pretty fun time trying to get that thing in there, because it's gonna go in and it's gonna stop, and you go to shoot the thing, it's gonna fall out. So you have to open that bolt up. Bam. My cat's over there bitching, by the way, because he hates this gun. All I have to do is pick the thing up and he starts crying. But compared to the M14, this guy, charging handle's a lot easier to pull back. Magazine doesn't really insert quite as positively as it does on the PTR, but I also have got quite an edge on this, because I have this little AR style bolt stop. So changing mags on this is almost as easy as an AR-15. Add the mag, bam, you're ready to go. So as far as operating this gun compared to the PTR, probably a couple seconds less to do a mag change. And as far as survival is concerned, a couple seconds could be the difference between life and death. Which, this thing has also been an excellent gun, so if you ever come across a James River Armory M14, I've heard they've had some kind of sketchy reviews, but this has been a good gun. And honestly, it's been every bit as good as my Springfield Armory one that I had previously. Of course, PTR does have a lot more advantages over the M14s. You know, the M14, if you want to, change the stock or whatever, a lot of those stocks are pretty expensive. Magazines are super expensive. $25, $30 for a Checkmate mag, $30, $40 for a Springfield magazine. This thing, $4, $5, $6, $7. No more than $10 for a surplus magazine. You can get a new one for about $10. This is one I think came from an order I made with Sportsman's Guide, and this one is almost perfect. I've been keeping this one with the gun mostly just for practicing and looking at it and shit, but this does have the SEF trigger rope on it. It's cool for collector's purposes, but you have basically got safe, semi. So this third notch is kind of pointless, so you really, unless you like having a little scratch right here from switching it back and forth, you might as well just use these two notches, because they're the closest together, and that one doesn't really do anything special other than look cool, make your gun look like a machine gun. But also the rear sight on here is also kind of cool, because you can't put it on camera, but you have your first sight is a tangent sight, so you can switch back and forth between aperture and the tangent sight. So you have your close range sight, and then you have your long distance sights, and it goes all the way up to I think like 400. I don't know how many yards, but probably like 600 or something like that. But if you want a cool military rifle, something takes cheap magazines, eats whatever ammo you put into it, this will fit the bill. M14 is about $500 more, and it's more expensive magazines, but You know, they're pretty comparable as far as battle rifles are concerned. Personally, I like the M14 better. I still like this too. You know. On top of this, this has a lot more options as far as stocks. You know, changing stock out on this thing is just pull these pins out, slide that out. Want your folding stock? A little bit of finagling. Cat's over there crying again. Bam. Folding stock. So I can't ever decide what stock I want to put on here because I have like 3 different sets of stocks. But I do like the folding stock. I like the original surplus stock. And the camouflage one's pretty cool too, but the camouflage one currently has the recoil rod on it that was bent, so I'm kind of leery of using it even though I bent it back. Now, it does look really cool on this gun, the camouflage. So, you know, in case anything happens I need to actually use this, or if I decide I just want to make a quick little range trip, I just keep the green furniture on it because I know the green furniture works. Yeah. I will say one thing, putting this carry handle on here, it will make it harder to put the handguard back on. So you will have to do a little bit of filing or grab a Dremel, which I use my Dremel, and you have to kind of, you know, use a little bit of elbow grease to get this thing on here after you get the carry handle put on. So I'm pretty sure the carry handle is probably meant for like an HK21, but it works on here because they're so similar. But if you want one of these, go for it. There's tons of options for it. You know, the trigger on it is, make sure everything's clear, just as a precaution. It's got that little bit of take up. Just a little bit of take up. Real kind of heavy. It's not really bad. It's not a really bad heavy trigger. It's crisp, but it's kind of heavy. The M14 trigger, you barely start pressing down on it, and it breaks. Has that little bit of take up, and then just goes click. You know, this isn't a little girly boy rifle. This isn't for those people who get upset over a Pokemon game asking them if they're a boy or a girl. This is a real man's rifle. If you ain't a real man, don't buy a 308 battle rifle, period. You might want to get you a little airsoft gun if you can't handle a little bit of being rough with something. This ain't for those people who like to sit there and try to ride the bolt home because they're afraid they're gonna hurt it. It's a tool. It's meant to be abused. These things are designed to be abused because they're military rifles. They're not toys. It's not a little showpiece. It's not, it's meant to be beat up. Buy one if you want it.